Good morning, book friends. I am Jen, and in this video, we are going to see how much I can read in a week as a full-time middle school teacher and as somebody who has a second part-time job. I got this idea from Freshly Read Reads, so I will have her account linked below in the description. If you are new here, welcome. I do a lot of TBRs, reading wrap-ups, trying to get into vlogging a little bit more, book recommendations, book reviews. So if that is something that interests you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You can also follow me on all social media platforms, and all the information for that is below. And if you are a returning watcher, welcome and thank you for your support. So I see a lot of these videos of how much I read in a week. And a lot of the time they are from accounts where the content creator does content creation, bookish content creation full-time. So I wanted to give you an idea of how much I actually read in a week. I do work full-time as a middle school teacher, and to help pay for my daughter's college tuition, I have a second job selling books over on the app called Whatnot. You can actually see some of the packages behind me because after work today, I do have to go to the post office and drop off some books from our show over the weekend. So today is Monday. This is the first Monday back after Thanksgiving break. I have 3 weeks before Christmas break. So that's a pretty manageable chunk. And we're doing something really fun for these 3 weeks where we do a big research project that is survivor themed. So they have to do a whole bunch of research, but then they also go out in groups and do low ropes course types of things and mental and physical challenges. So these 3 weeks are a little bit different than my normal workday. Since I do teach more than one subject, I have more than one planning period. And so if I'm all caught up on my stuff, I have all of those planning periods or most of those planning periods in a day to get some reading done. Since this schedule that we have right now is a little bit different, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get more reading done, less reading done, so I guess we'll have to see. For the first day, I do get to wear my cool Hawaiian shirt though, so that's exciting. So after work today, I will be leaving there around 2:30. I have to go to the post office and drop off some packages. I have to go to the library and return this bad boy that I read in November and absolutely loved. So later on tonight, I will sit down with you, talk to you about what reading plans I have for this week, let you know how much I read for the day, and we can get a little bit more caught up there. So I'll see you later tonight. It is now Tuesday evening. I did not make an update last night because from the time I left my house until the time I actually had a chance to sit down was at bedtime. So I was on the go for about 15 hours and I was just too tired to even think about updating the vlog. After work, which was the first day back after a break, so that's always tiring. I had to go to the post office, had to go to the library. I came home and sold my old Christmas tree to my neighbor and ended up cleaning out my garage a little bit. Then I had more books to package and I went and picked up dinner at Applebee's, took a shower, and completely crashed into bed. So let's do a Monday update. So here is the graphic of how many pages I read. So let's talk about Heat of the Everflame. I am listening to this on audio and it's a slow go. I listened to it for what I think or what feels like a long time, and it's only been bumped up a couple of percentages. But, you know, she's a thick book. This one so far is not as engaging or attention grabbing as the first two, but I'm not enjoying it. So I read from page 279, or I listened to, so that's chapter 29, to about page 309, which is somewhere in chapter 32. So about 30 pages of Heat of the Everflame, and that was just in the car on my way to work yesterday. There's my cat, Violet. So this is Violet, her and her sister, Athena. This is their first Christmas with us. So this is their first Christmas tree experience. So we're hoping it doesn't fall over. We do have a sandbag that's holding it down, hopefully. And that's Lilo. Those are her ears that you see back there. And then yesterday, I also read a little bit of Brimstone. I am really liking this. I can't remember if I said this in yesterday's vlog or not, but I'm liking this better than Quicksilver. When I read Quicksilver, I was leading a book club on the internet where we would meet every week and talk about an assigned number of chapters. So as I was doing that, I was only reading the assigned numbers of chapters per week because I didn't want to talk about something and spoil it on accident. And I think that took some of the enjoyment away from it for me because I had to slow my pace down with it a little bit, and I was reading other books in between. So that might be why I am enjoying this one. My favorite character is Carrion, and he is a big part of this book, and I just am enjoying it so much. And there's artwork of him at the beginning. So yesterday, I read on my Kindle. So I do have the physical book, the Target edition, but I'm reading it on my Kindle. So I read from chapters 22 to 25. So that's page 275 to 319. So let's say 25, 35. So like 40 pages, a little bit more than 40 pages of Brimstone last night or yesterday. I did not get a chance to read anything during my workday yesterday, and that's pretty unusual. So my numbers as far as Monday goes, working full-time and having a part-time book selling job, the first day numbers were pretty low. So let's talk about today. Today is Tuesday. I have already gone to work, ran errands, went to the grocery store. It is in the evening. It's about 5 o'clock right now. I started at work today, Murder by Memory by Olivia Waite. It is a very thin book. It is 100 pages, maybe even a little bit less than 100 pages. So I am actually planning on finishing this tonight. So let's just talk about a little bit of it. I'm only going to tell you about what's going on in the first chapter. So there is a ship in space. And when I say ship, I mean it's like a small city. There are apartments and parks and stuff like that, gardens. And this ship left Earth. Okay, we are way in the future. This ship left Earth and is headed to somewhere else permanently. So all the humans that are on this ship are leaving Earth to go live somewhere else. It hasn't said yet. But it's going to take a really long time to get there. And so a lot of sci-fi books, their solution to that is, well, let's just freeze them. Well, in this book, the solution is a little bit different. They realize that our minds, our souls, our emotions, what make us a human, what make us an individual, will outlast our actual physical bodies. So every human has a body, but they also have a book in a library. And that book has their thoughts, their memories, their emotions, whatever makes them a human, pretty much uploaded into this book. So when their body dies, they can then be downloaded by the ship, which is like an AI, into a blank body. And these blank bodies are just that. They're completely blank. They have no features, no descriptions, nothing individual about them. And then that comes later on after the person is downloaded into this blank body. There is a woman on this ship. Her name is Dorothy. She is a detective. Detectives are highly esteemed on the ship. Also, the ship has like an AI named Fairy, which is, I think, short for Fairweather or Fairyweather. And she wakes up. She thinks that she has, her physical body has died. So she is expecting to wake up in a blank body. But to her surprise, she is actually in somebody else's body. So she has pretty much been downloaded into an already existing human. We learn from there that there is a reason for this, but there has also been a murder on the ship. There is somebody who is dead. And since she's in this body, at least for the time being, and she's a detective, she's going to do what she can to try to solve this murder. Anything beyond that, I think might become a spoiler, but I've only read about 25 pages, so I'm not really sure. But I really like the way that this is written. I really love the concept of this, and I love that it's short and it's a quick read. So plans will be to finish that tonight and possibly read a little bit more Brimstone. On a side note, I bought this sweatshirt. Actually, my boyfriend bought it for me for Christmas, and let me show you. Okay, so it says Opalite, and then you can't really see it, but it says Dancing Through the Lightning Strikes. And the reason he gave this to me early was because he ordered it and had to end up getting a refund for it. But then they just told him to keep it. And it's because there's like 2 words down here that are spelled wrong. I think lightning and through is spelled incorrectly. So I'm wearing it because I don't think that anybody's going to notice. And it's a cool shirt. It's a cool sweatshirt. And it's a crew neck. So I'm loving it. But I have some book mail. And I'm expecting more book mail this week that I'll show you later on. I do not usually have this much book mail, but I guess the reading vlog gods have smiled down on me and have given me something else to show in my vlogs this week. So the first is Fairy Loot. This is the adult fantasy book only. This is for November, and it is Fallen City by Adrienne Young, and it is such a pretty book. I have only read The Unmaking of June Farrow by this author. That's it. It's really pretty. In fact, I like the reversible dust jacket portion of it better than this side of it. I don't really know what this is about. I'm not sure if I'm going to read this or not. I may pass this on to somebody else. If you want to see the book in more detail, then check out my YouTube short or my TikTok or my Instagram reel that I'll be posting on this, I don't know, today or tomorrow. Next is my December book of the month. It has been a few months since I have not skipped this book of the month. This one I was going to get from the library. It is a read for an in-person book club that I am in. But it was going to be way past December before it was ready at the library, and I had a credit, so I got good spirits. I read First Time Caller by B.K. Borison this year, and it is one of my favorite books of the whole year, probably in my top 10. I don't know. I haven't really organized that yet, but I'm really excited. So this is a romance between this woman here and this man is the ghost of, I think, Christmas Past. So that's super unique, and it's a really pretty book. Does not have the sprayed edges like the ones you can get other places, but I still really like it. And the bookmark is all wintry. All right, so that's my Tuesday update. I'm going to go make dinner, do a little bit of cleaning. I'm going to try to bust through with some more reading tonight than I have been getting done. Something that has been really affecting my reading the last week or so is doom scrolling on TikTok. Last night, I probably scrolled on TikTok for 2 hours that I could have been reading. I get stuck in these TikTok loops on my For You page of these things. These are the things that I watch that suck my attention and make me stay up way later than I need to, and also cut into my reading time. And that is videos of children doing funny things, specifically if they're cussing. I think that is hilarious. People who slip on the ice. I feel for them so bad. I live in Florida, so I don't have to deal with that. But I know that if I ever move up north, that's going to be me. That's going to be me. If there's water on the floor, I will find it and I will slip on it. And also funny cat videos. Last night, it was the cat videos that sucked me in and wasted all my time. Okay, time for a Wednesday check-in. It's about 3:30 right now. So let's talk about what I ended up reading yesterday, which was Tuesday. I read 5 chapters in Brimstone, which totaled out to be about 50 pages. I read about a chapter in Heat of the Everflame. That was about 20 pages. But I did complete Murder by Memory, and this was 100 pages. So overall, yesterday, my reading day page-wise was great. Since we are in the middle of the week and I still have reading to do tonight, I am going to wait until tomorrow to update you with a page total from Monday to Wednesday. But here is my page total for Tuesday. So let's talk about the book that I finished, Murder by Memory. This is a hard book to rate. One, because it is so small, and I always have a hard time rating novellas. I think I'm going to give this a 2.75 to a 3. My favorite thing about this is the setting. Concept of humans being on a ship going from Earth to somewhere takes a long time to get there. Their brains and their memories last longer than their bodies, so they're constantly like uploading themselves into new bodies. All that while trying to solve a murder mystery. The murder mystery itself was pretty reminiscent of an Agatha Christie book, like a whodunit. The ending didn't shock me. I was just like, okay, that's cool. I don't think it was supposed to shock me. I mean, really, it's such a tiny book. I think that you're reading this book for the vibes, to be honest with you. Will I be reading the second book? Yeah. It is not that much of a time commitment. I do enjoy the setting. Cozy sci-fi. This is the second cozy sci-fi that I've read. Maybe the third cozy sci-fi that I've read. And yeah, I really like this genre. I really don't have anything new to say about these two. Sort of liking, really liking. I was able to start Love Light Farms today. I got 4 chapters read in that. But I can't really tell you everything that I'm going to be reading today because the day is not over. So I will jump on and give you a updated Monday through Wednesday total page count, and also let you know what I ended up reading tonight. So Thursday here. I know that Jen yesterday said she was going to have an updated page count for you today of the first 3 days of this reading vlog, but I don't. But editing Jen will. So here are the pages I've read Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of this week. Today is Thursday. I'm going on hour 13 of no break. I have not read anything today. I have not even listened to audiobook. The last 2 days, I have just not been in an audiobook mood. I've been listening to Booktube. Lots of really good end of the year content. 10 before the end of the year tags, December reading plans. My Spotify Wrapped came out, and Taylor Swift, of course, is the most listened to. My musical age is 22. But I also found out that YouTube has a Wrapped up. So these are the top 5 booktubers that I have watched in 2025. Sydney, Chris and Mads, Books and Heather, Covers with Cassidy, and Becca and Books. So I'm going to have all of their links to their channels in the description of this video. And I have a little bit more book mail. Also, I'm making dinner, a gourmet dinner of Hamburger Helper. We listen and we don't judge. A friend of mine who also sells books over on the Whatnot app came across some books that I was interested in purchasing. So let's see what I got. Anybody else collect books for way in the future? I have all of Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time books that I'm going to read probably when I'm retired, but I collected them all. So another author who I am collecting but not planning on reading right away is Mercedes Lackey. She started writing fantasy books in I think the 70s or the 80s, and she is still pumping them out, and I think they are still books from the same series that she started in the 70s or the 80s. What drew me to her originally was the artwork on the cover of her books. So I started collecting them at the flea market. And then when my friend had a whole bunch of them that I did not have, I bought them to work on my collection. And she has a whole nother box to send to me on my next payday. So if you have not checked out the Whatnot app, the link and my referral code is also in the description. If you want to check out my shop, it is Dragon Lore Emporium. So I have a little thank you note. And I don't really know anything about these books other than I just really think they're pretty. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about them. But I'll just show them to you really quick. So So I'm really looking forward to putting together my Mercedes Lackey bookshelf. Not an entire bookshelf, just like a row or two on the shelves, because I probably have 15 upstairs, and I'm going to be getting another like 6 this month sometime. So after I eat, I'm going to crash. And by crash, I mean read as much of Brimstone as I can. Maybe some Love Light Farms. Tomorrow is Friday, so I'll have a little bit more time. Hopefully I'll be a little bit more relaxed after work tomorrow. Do some more official updates. Sorry, I don't really have much of a reading update for you today, but I'll check back in with you on Friday. Quick reading update from me and Violet. Say hi. Say hi, Violet. So I have gotten as far as I can get in Heat of the Everflame, which I think is about chapter 48 before my Spotify audiobook hours ran out. So I'm sort of at a standstill, either until I get it from the library or until after the 15th when they reset. So I can't progress any further in that unless I get the book out and physically read it, but I have lots of other books that I'm doing that with. So for now, Heat of the Everflame is on hold. And I finished Brimstone, and it was a 5 stars, and it was better than Quicksilver, and I loved it so, so much. It kept my attention. It was action-packed. The pacing was phenomenal. Carrion was amazing. Kingfisher was amazing. Saris became a badass bitch, using people as footstools. It ended in such a perfect place that makes me look forward to the 3rd book even that much more. I cannot recommend Quicksilver and Brimstone enough, especially if you already like romantasy and you're already familiar with that genre. There were a few twists. There were some very heartwarming moments. There was some humor. Already excited for book number 3, and nothing has even been released yet that I know about. It is now Tuesday. This vlog was supposed to end on Sunday, and technically the vlog did end on Sunday because I stopped counting my pages on Sunday. It has just taken me this long to get back here to update you with my page count and to close out the vlog. So such is the life of a content creator who also has 2 jobs. So for the week, I read 74 pages on Monday, 81 pages on Tuesday, 83 pages on Wednesday, 0 pages on Thursday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I did do a lot of reading, but I forgot to count. But for the whole week, I did read 577 pages across 4 books, excuse me. And actually, it was a little bit more than that because late Sunday night, I did start The Will of the Many, and I read the first chapter, so maybe like 12 pages. So actually, my count might be a little higher than that, but we'll just stick with 577. We'll just stick with 577 for the week. I read some really great books. I started some great books. I finished some great books. And I thank you for coming along for the ride. As always, I appreciate your likes, your comments, and your subscribes. And until next time, happy reading.